In the headlines, government imposes curfew after gunmen attack Plateau village, killing many. Windstorm destroys buildings, properties in Katsina, kills 3 in Ogun. National Assembly approves independent candidacy for elections, seeks President Buhari's assent. And on the international scene, rape trial of Senegal opposition leader Ousmane Sonko adjourned. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in full. A 24-hour curfew has been imposed on Mangu local government area of Plateau State as part of efforts to address the killings in Fungazi and Kubat communities. A statement signed by Mangu local government chairman, Minister Daput, says the stay-at-home order was agreed on after consultation with security heads as means of restoring law and order in the affected communities. Public Relations Officer, Plateau State Police Command, Alfred Alabo, stated that the command has deployed additional troops to the communities while investigation into the attacks were ongoing. In the meantime, Governor Simon Lalong, in a statement through his Director of Press and Public Affairs, Simon Makut, condemned the unprovoked attack, describing it as yet another attempt by crisis merchants and criminals to return the state to dark days of agony. He vowed that the government will stop at nothing to ensure that those behind the heinous crime are not spared. Earlier, we spoke to Daily Trust reporter in Jos, Ado Musa. He gives an update on the situation.
After the imposition of the 24-hour curfew by the executive chairman of Mangu local government area, security personnel were able to get to the attack communities, where they recover a lot of items said to have been abandoned by the attackers when security personnel arrived the communities. According to the spokesperson of the State Police Command, DSP Alabo Alfred, 4 motorcycles and 1 Sharon vehicle were recovered. Just like we have reported earlier, a good number of roadblocks have been mounted along the road that passed through Mangu to avoid reprisal of the attack. But what is still not understood is the number of those that lost their lives during the incident. Even with the statement issued by the State Police Command confirming that the incident had occurred and many people were killed, but yet the command is yet to tell journalists how many people were killed during the incident or how many people were injured.
The governor-elect of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, has expressed shock over the bloody attack by gunmen on Fungzai and Kubwat villages in the Kombon district of Mangu local government area, which left at least 29 persons dead. The governor-elect, in a statement on Tuesday, condemned the attack, which also left several persons injured and houses with valuables worth millions of naira destroyed. The statement, signed by his media aide, Gyang Bere, appealed to security agencies to rise up to their constitutional responsibility of protecting and securing citizens, particularly the rural dwellers. He also appealed to peace-loving and patriotic citizens of the state and the environs to be committed to peaceful coexistence and unite for maximum protection and safety of their citizens. Meanwhile, heavy windstorm has destroyed some buildings and fence at the College of Peace, Conflict Resolution and Disaster Management in Katsina State. The windstorm, accompanied by dust, blew off some roofing and destroyed a fence close to the armory of the college. Abdullahi Yamadi visited the college and now reports.
The Assistant Commandant General of the college, who briefed journalists on the incident, appealed for immediate government intervention to safeguard the college from further disaster.
You have gone around, you have seen how our security fence has fallen down, and also some of the hostels, our accommodation, staff accommodation, that their roofings have been blown off by air. When you look at critically, you look at the importance of the pens. You know, it provides security, and this is where we have all our arms in, because Armory is here, which both the state command and the college arms are inside. That's why we just have to hasten and see what can we provide as an emergency.
This is coming at a time Katsina State government is organizing a one-week intensive training for over 1,900 vigilante corps at the college. The training is part of the exercise on an armed combat for 3,000 vigilante corps promised by the outgoing Masari administration. Already over 1,900 have been trained by the college sometime in 2022. The trainees were drawn from the 34 local government areas of the state with a view to complementing the conventional security operatives in fighting banditry and other crimes.
Most of the crimes we are facing are community-based, and these community volunteers we are seeing, they go into the nooks and crannies of the state. They know where the criminal elements are, and with the training they are given, everybody has seen how Katsina is transiting from banditry to stable state, to a state where peace and prosperity are the key. So as far as we are concerned, Katsina is going to transit out of the challenges of one banditry we are facing.
Katsina, like many other states in the northwest, has been battling banditry and other criminal elements for the past 1 decade. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Also, a family of 3 has been feared dead following heavy rains in Denro community of Ifo local government area of Ogun State. Report says the rain were preceded by a windstorm, a situation that forced a concrete fence beside the house of the victims to collapse on the apartment the family occupied. Residents of the area said the head of the family, popularly called Onimalu, a butcher at the local abattoir in the area, was said to have made efforts to save his son and pregnant wife, but they sadly all died. Others who were injured in the building were said to have been rushed to different hospitals in the area. A landlord who craved anonymity said that the tragic incident happened on Monday. The Senate on Tuesday directed the clerk to the National Assembly to transmit a Constitution Alteration Bill number 58 to President Muhammadu Buhari for assent in line with the provisions of the Authentication Act. The bill seeks to provide for independent candidacy in presidential, governorship, National Assembly and state assemblies and local government council elections. The clerk was also directed to transmit to the President Constitution Amendment Bill number 46, which seeks to include the presiding officers of the National Assembly in the membership of the National Security Council. The 2 proposals were a part of the Constitution alteration bills transmitted to state houses of assembly for concurrence last year, but not part of the 35 that secured the required approval of 24 out of the 36 state assemblies. Deputy Senate President Ovie Omoagege, in a motion during Tuesday's plenary, informed his colleagues that Gombe State House of Assembly has approved the Constitution Alteration Bill numbers 46 and 58 and forwarded its resolution to the National Assembly. Omoagege, who is the chairman of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Constitution Review, said with the approval of the Gombe Assembly, the bills on the independent candidacy and inclusion of National Assembly presiding officers in the National Security Council membership have met the provision of Section 9, Subsection 2 of the Constitution for passage. Meanwhile, members-elect of the Minority Caucus of the 10th Assembly said they are not interested in contesting for either the Speaker or Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. At a meeting in Abuja, the caucus, also called the Greater Majority, said they will not enter into the leadership race with the governing All Progressive Congress, APC. The Minority Caucus had set up a committee to investigate if there is any member of the minority that is interested in the Speaker or Deputy Speaker seat.
I wish to report on behalf of the chairman of that committee and the entire members of the committee that as at the end of the period given to undertake that assignment, no member of the minority caucuses, better known as the greater majority, stepped forward for presiding the role of presiding officers. Deductively, that means that we are not bidding for those two positions. However, we remain united.
President-elect Bola Tinubu has met with Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, one of his opponents in the February 25, 2023 election. Kwankwaso, who ran on the platform of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, placed fourth in the election, winning only Kano State, a stronghold of the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC. Now, according to sources, the duo met for hours in Paris, capital of France, on Monday. Tinubu reportedly told Kwankwaso to reach out to his political associates on the need to work together. The incoming president and his guests were said to have agreed to hold subsequent meetings. Residents of Zaria in Kaduna State have held a prayer session for a peaceful transition come May 29. The prayer session held at the Zaria Central Jumaat Mosque was officiated by the Naibin Zazzau, Sani Abubakar Lamido. Other Islamic scholars that offered prayers also include the Sarkin Kadan Zazzau, Limamin Kina, Imam of Gofar Gaya, Low Cost, and Muhammad Dang Arugungu. Speaking shortly after the prayers, the convener Nasir Shehu said the effort was to seek divine intervention to ensure a smooth handing over at all levels of government. He said that the country's security, unity, and peaceful coexistence dominated the prayer session in order to ensure that Nigeria remains an indivisible entity.
Apart from this, what you are likely to see in the future, very close one, is the ceremony. Sorry, it's a ceremony of what is going to happen within our party. We are going to gather a lot of activities politically. Apart from this, in the political activities, we gather our people, make this thing possible. We make our movement vibrant. For people to see and understand that we are not playing, we are all out for this position.
The Director General of the World Trade Organization, WTO, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has advised incoming governors to stop defending or depending on crude oil and diversify the sources of revenue in their domains. She spoke on Monday during an induction organized for elected governors in Abuja 2 weeks before the May 29 inauguration. According to her, states with over-dependence on the monthly Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, FACA, would be badly hit. The WTO boss also urged the governors-elect to rebuild trust through their policies and programs to regain the support of Nigerians. You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at improving Katsina traffic situation. Details on this and more after the break. Stay with us.
That's great.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update on Trust TV. And here is a recap of our top stories. Report you, government imposes curfew after gunmen attack Plateau village, killing many. And National Assembly approves independent candidacy for elections, 6 President Buhari's assent. Now moving on to more stories. A report on the safety of girls and women shows that 95% of gender-based violence in FCT, Niger and Nasarawa states communities were perpetrated by men and boys. This was made known on Monday by the Flashlight Actions on Girls Safety Flags Project Midline Dissemination meeting organized by Talitha Kumi Foundation, TCF, in Abuja. The 3-year Flags project is funded by the UN Trust Fund and implemented by the Talitha Kumi Foundation, TCF, to end GBV and support 750 marginalized schoolgirls between 10 to 19 years. Now, stakeholders at the meeting blamed poverty, culture, lack of skills acquisition, parental care and neglect were some of the causes of the GBV and called for prosecution of offenders to serve as deterrent, for others.
On the midline assessment conducted in our 10 Flags communities, the major cause of gender-based violence as identified by the respondents is what? Poverty. 71% is what? Poverty. That's the major cause of gender-based violence in the communities. And the major perpetrators of gender-based violence is what? 75% are what? The men. 20% the boys. So basically 95% is what? Men and boys.
We need shelters. We need places where we can keep the survivor safe and rehabilitate her while, justice is taking, its course. And government can support in this regard.
The number of people that are speaking out, girls and women that are speaking out now, are more than how it used to be. The culture of silence has been broken. And we have a lot of reports now. And I'm standing tall to tell you that FCT Command are not leaving any stone unturned.
As part of efforts to elevate the transportation challenges in Katsina State, the Kofar Kwaya and Kofar Kaura underpasses have been completed and set to be officially opened by the state governor before May 29th. Our reporter Jamil Mabai reports that despite such laudable projects, the Katsina Dubai Market and Katsina City Mall have been left to rot for 8 years, despite their potential to boost the state's economy. The report.
These underpass are some of Governor Masari's achievements. The Kofar Kaura and the Kofar Kwaya underpasses were constructed in less than 2 years. Before the construction, there used to be much traffic here, but today, the story is different.
Experts say improving the road networks can have significant economic benefits.
They are relevant because they will ease movement of persons and goods, and that will facilitate exchange of goods and services and productivity.
The construction of these projects, totaling 10 billion naira, is expected to improve traffic flow and accessibility in the area.
They will attract people that are coming in Katsina to do businesses, like from neighboring states and even neighboring countries. If one observes, recently there is influx of people, especially from Niger Republic, and that axis is where they patronize Katsina Central Market and around that area, and this is where the places they usually patronize. So if such infrastructure are provided, it will ease also their movement, and also it will attract more to come.
Unfortunately for 8 years, Katsina Dubai Market and Katsina City Mall were left to rot. With over 1,000 shops, Dubai Market and City Mall were projects initiated by the previous administration.
Actually, this is a trend in Nigeria and other developing countries of governments abandoning projects initiated by other governments, maybe so that the credit will not go to the other governments, and also lack of continuity of government programs and projects. It is projects, as you said, where a huge amount of money is invested.
The markets are now a shadow of their former selves.
The City Mall in particular is virtually 100% completed. The Dubai Market also reached advanced stage. So these are areas which can facilitate development of businesses, small and medium enterprises, and as well as earn revenue for government. You have real capitals that will generate revenue for you, and you are allowing them to lie idle. So if their life cycle is maybe 30 years, already 8 years is wasted.
Experts say these two markets have the potentials to boost the state's economy.
I think we'll miss the opportunity of generating revenue for government, because if government rent them out to businesses, it will generate revenue in that aspect. Another source of revenue is they will also pay taxes in addition to the rent they pay to the government. So government will generate a lot of revenue from there, and then employment will be generated. Any business that is established there will employ 1, 2, 3 individuals.
Last year, the state government entered an agreement with a private company to complete the project. But with inflation, the cost is expected to be higher. Jamil Mubai, reporting for Trust TV, Katsina.
The federal government has donated relief materials and fishing equipment to Bakassi returnees and internally displaced persons in Akwa Ibom State. Speaking in Oron during the donation, the Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Hajia Ismaili Ahmed Suleiman, said President Muhammadu Buhari was concerned about the welfare of Nigerians, especially the vulnerable ones. Suleiman, who inaugurated the Oron Field Office of the Commission and a utility vehicle for operations, commended the displaced persons for their orderly conduct and peaceful coexistence in the IDP's camp in Oron local government area. The head of office, Oron Field, Kajetan Iheanacho, said the refugees' location in the state is spread over 16 local government areas. Iheanacho stated that since operations started in the area nearly 2 years ago, the Commission has carried out the identification, documentation, and registration of refugees in the state. The President, Akwa Ibom Bakassi Returnees and Internally Displaced Persons Cooperative Association, Solomon Inyang, and Secretary General Anthony Edem appealed to the federal government to implement the Green Tree Agreement that was signed in 2006. The items donated include 2 engine boats, 2 wooden boats, assorted food items, blankets, mattresses, utensils, and grinding machines. And now from the international scene, the trial of Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko for alleged rape has been adjourned for a week. Sonko, who is also the mayor of the southern city of Ziguinchor, was charged based on a woman's accusation that he assaulted her when she worked at a massage salon. The 48-year-old has denied the charges and has accused President Macky Sall of trying to prevent him from running in elections next year. The government denies this. A spokesperson for the government said the trial was a private matter between 2 individuals and it did not concern it. If convicted, Sonko faces up to 10 years in prison and would be barred from running for president. Protests erupted in Ziguinchor and the Dakar area on Monday on the eve of Sonko's scheduled court appearance. A former tax inspector, the 48-year-old Sonko has become the face of growing frustration among Senegalese people against Sall. And lastly, in sport, Delta State government on Tuesday signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with the federal government to host the National Youth Games, NYGS, for the next 4 years. At the ceremony at the Government House, Asaba, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, signed for the federal government, while Governor Ifeanyi Okowa signed for the state government. In his remarks, Okowa thanked the minister for his contributions to sports development in the country and for building the youth through sports. The governor assured that the state government would continue to partner with the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development to discover and grow more talent across the country. Earlier, the minister had said that Delta State had become the hub for sports development and commended Governor Okowa for his contributions to the development of new talents across the state and country. With that, we've come to the end of Trust TV News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.